But it looks great. I mean, it seals up and looks exactly like the factory one. $99 versus $370 is a win in my book. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope y'all having a good day. I finally was able to get the part that I wanted to finish my ram air install for my hood inlet after many years. I did a video a couple of years back of the Mopar cold air inlet or cold air intake install, and got a few views on it and everything. But in it, I mentioned that I was going to do the hood scoop mod, so it was actually a true ram air inlet. And one of the biggest things was, not that it wasn't really worth the money, but I didn't think I would get, that much gains or that much use out of it, honestly. But Mopar Dodge wants $360, $370, depending on where you find it, for the inlet kit for the hood intake right here. And so I know research and design and everything that goes into these things, they got to get their money out of it. But to me, it just really wasn't worth almost $400 for this piece and this part. So anyway, after some more Googling, searching and whatnot, I found a company on Amazon that actually sells it for $99 at the time of this video. So, believe me, I'm one of those people. You get what you pay for. So this might be an epic fail. Might not turn out to be worth a crap at all. But we're going to try it. I've taken it out the box and looked at it so far to make sure it just wasn't a complete ripoff. It looks identical to the one Mopar sells. The fit, finish, quality looks really good. So let's hope it actually goes together like it's supposed to. So I'll show you that kit real quick right now. So here are the pieces, and like I said, there's not much to it. That's why I just couldn't really bring myself to spend almost $400 on the Mopar one. Again, hopefully this goes together like it's supposed to. Here's the intake piece that goes on the hood. So it looks exactly like the factory one. Obviously, we've got the cutouts now so the air can flow through it. Here's the piece that mounts up to it, so the air goes in here, comes through, goes down to your Mopar cold air intake. I think this is just a support bracket for a spacer to keep the hood from flexing or moving. We'll find out shortly. And you've got your little hardware package with some weather stripping, and then some spacers and a couple of bolts, and that's it. So again, that's what you find on all the Mopar sites and Dodge sites, Ram, whatever. $360, $370 was the best price I could find. And I'll leave the link down below to this kit that I found on Amazon. Of course, you get the instructions. They do a pretty decent job of going through everything and showing you how to get it installed. And so if we take this piece over to the truck, if you look, of course, mine's a little dirty. It is a couple of years old now. And so, but if you look at it, the finish on the plastic looks exactly the same. It looks identical. Hopefully it actually goes in there and snaps in like it's supposed to. We don't have any trouble with it, and it sits flush against the hood like it's supposed to. So that's where we're going to start first. There's these little catch tabs on the bottom of it. So it goes in on the top edge right here, slides in and then snaps down and holds in. So we're going to put a piece of tape along the front edge of the paint on the hood to protect it, and then you're supposed to put a little piece of a pry tool right under it to pop these tabs on the bottom edge. So that's our first step. So we're going to try that, and then raise the hood. If I can open it. There we go. So here's our original install. Very dirty, ignore the dirt, from our Mopar cold air intake that we installed a while back. And again, I did a full video, performance information, everything of this thing really did help out. And so this top plate then comes off, and it's kind of a shame because that's the best looking part of the whole thing. And then up here is where the piece comes in from the hood, and then it'll sit right down and seal to the top of this box. So that's what we got to do today, and I'm gonna get started on it and keep you updated how it goes. So here is the stock piece out. Now, something you might want to pay attention to is the stock piece only has 2 catch tabs along the bottom edge, but it has this piece of double-sided tape or adhesive on it that keeps it stuck in. And there's not really much along the top edge, just a very small lip, if I can get it to focus, a little small lip along that top edge that keeps it in. And then here's the view on the truck. So again, there's a little catch over here on the right and one on the left, and you see the tape residue. So I'm gonna clean all of that off before we do anything. And then here's the intake area where that piece slides in underneath it. And so there's the hood liner right here that'll open up below it. And so that piece will just fit right up in there. So we've got to pop the hood liner off next. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean this area up. You can see where I put the tape down just so I could slide my pry tool. Here we go. This pry tool right up under the edge here, so I wouldn't scratch the hood, the paint. Slid it right under the edge, and pop those two tabs off. I thought there was one in the middle. Turned out it was just this tape, so you have to pull up and pry on it to release it, and then it'll slide right out. Okay, so we'll give you a little progress update here. We've got the hood liner taken down, so there's a couple of push pins that hold this in. I wasn't going to take the entire thing off just yet. I don't think I need to, so I took that pin out. It tucks up under this bracket or flange or whatever, and there's a pin back there and one in the middle, and so it lets it sag down plenty far enough to get what you need to here. You put the little trim piece on here like so, and then that aluminum bar that I showed you snakes in behind to these two slits here and here in the hood, and then you temporarily put the screws in or the bolts in and the washers here and here finger tight so you can get it aligned. And then you've got this hole here, and then that one comes back out and hooks up to the front. So then the next step is you've got to put this bulb seal on the intake bracket or duct here, and then trim it to fit on the side. So there was just a little bit of trim that we had to do there. This is probably so far, unfortunately, the hardest part is it's got this metal clamp in the seal, which is good because maybe that means it'll hold it on there and it won't come off. And you have to just force it down on there and pry that seal apart so it'll go and slide on there. So we've got that done, got it trimmed to match up just right. And so now the idea is there's the bolt hole there, and there's the other one that goes to that aluminum bracket. So we've got to fish this in the hole, line it up, and then screw it down. The instructions said to go ahead and trim the liner, but I didn't want to do that because I have no idea exactly where this hole is going to come through. So I didn't want to cut it too big or too large just yet. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and install the ductwork piece, get it all bolted down, and then I'll be able to push this up against it, kind of see where it is, start a small hole in the middle, and then trim it out so it's just right, the right size. That's the idea anyway. I don't know how easy this stuff is going to trim. Got a few different tools we'll try out, but that's where we are so far. So now I've got to fish the duct piece in the opening and line it up with these bolt holes and see how well that does. Okay, quick update. We've got the duct inlet installed. There's the front bolt in, there's the rear bolt in, and the trim pieces around it and everything. It's in the truck, but we ran into an issue. So this spacer that they provide in the kit is supposed to go in between the hood and this duct to keep it, I guess, the correct distance and to keep it from moving around. But I don't know if this kit or all of them or what is a little bit off or wrong. The thing is too long. It won't go in between it. Even when I pry down on this to force it to fit, then this bolt is not long enough to even reach it and secure against the threads on the underside on the thing. So this won't fit. I may see if I can cut it or fabricate something else once I test this out. I'm going to put it back together first and see how this seal meets up against the air box. So you're supposed to take this lid off, these 3 bolts in this lid, and it's supposed to sit right down on it. So we'll see how all of it mates up first before I do that. Here's a look from the top. There's the inlet there. It is a little bowed right here in the middle. Again, they may all be like that, I don't know. But I was gonna see if maybe I could force something in there to kind of flex it back open. But that's the look from the outside in, and then of course I'll snap the piece in a second. But there it is, all lined up. You have to kind of get it just right aligned for this bolt to go through the aluminum bracket and then into the threaded inserts into the duct piece. But that wasn't too bad. So there it is. We'll get the piece now trimmed back up with the hole so this can go through it, and then we'll put it back together and kind of see where we're at and where it aligns and what we're going to do about this bolt and the space there. And we've got it all installed. I trimmed out the hood liner using a pair of 10 snips that actually worked pretty well. So like I said, I just kind of pushed it back up against it, and the cutout was right by the hood light. So I started right there on the corner and came into the middle and cut a hole, and then got a little bit bigger, and trimmed it out around so I could just push it right back up against it. And it's a nice tight seal all the way around it. Put the push pins back in, and then I cleaned off this rubber seal real good since this is kind of dusty and dirty. I'm going to slowly lower the hood down and see where this seal lines up on this box. It should line up right on the edge of this black box, because this top silver Mopar cover has to come off. So we're going to test that out now, see how well it lines up. So I did my little test, and you can see the dust line on the seal. The hood won't shut all the way because obviously this is jamming up against the box and it's not supposed to, so that's understandable. So I think this right side will seal a little bit better once the hood shuts all the way, but you can see right there where the line touches right around the edge of the ring, so it aligns really well. And I think there's a lip under here, so we'll take this cover off and look really quickly and see what's underneath it. So here's your lid cover removed. It's got a little rubber gasket around the back side of it too, and yes, there is a lip that this thing sits on and where that rubber gasket will seal to. Ignore the dirt in the filter. I know it's filthy. That's my next video. I'm gonna take this thing off and show you how to clean it. So if you want to stay tuned or subscribe for that one too, that'll be the next step in this. But yeah, so we're going to test fit it now and close it and see if it will close against this ring. And also, side note, everything in this install is a 10mm bolt, even the new kit that came from Amazon, and the bolts on this lid. Pretty easy. I think 6 bolts total, 3 here and 3 there, done. But if you've lost your 10mm socket, you're going to just be SOL. You're not going to be able to do this install, so you're going to have to go buy another set. It fit like a champ. Everything worked good. I do think I'm gonna have to do a spacer or something on this side to keep it down just a little bit. The hood is a snug fit now to close. It's a little bit more oomph to get it to close, but it did close just fine, and it touched all the way around on the box lid like we wanted. This thing has a drain hole in the bottom of it, because I know I was concerned, well, what about all the water that comes in this thing from the hood now? But it's gonna come in, hit the back, drip down, and go right out of this drain hole in the bottom. And so I think we're good to go with everything. Let me close the hood and I'll show you how it looks from the outside. Again, ignore the dirt. This is not from the new piece. Obviously, we just installed it. It's just from probably way too long going between cleanings. So again, that's my next video, is to get this sucker cleaned up. Probably give us a little bit more airflow. And here is your view from the outside. There's where the holes are and where it goes into the new duct piece. It's sealed up perfectly against the hood. There's no issues that I see whatsoever. It was a little difficult. This side snapped right in perfect. These two were a little bit more difficult to snap in. I had to force it from below. But now if I'd already installed that hood liner like the instructions said, I wouldn't have been able to do that as easily. So since I had it all loose, I was able to force the hood from below and the clips from above and got it to snap in. But it looks great. I mean, it seals up and looks exactly like the factory one. And so I'm very happy with it. It looks good. The hood seals fine. Everything looks good. So to save that much money and everything work exactly the same other than the one little spacer piece that we'll figure out, I'm very pleased with it. So $99 versus $370 is a win in my book. So I think it was, in this particular instance, we saved a good bit of money, and I'm thrilled with the outcome. So that's it, guys. It all went together perfect. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you watching the video. Give it a thumbs up if you found it interesting or helpful at all. Consider subscribing. We do all kinds of mods, truck videos, car videos, installs, vacation, travel videos, all kinds of interesting stuff you might find that you want to hang around and watch some more of. So consider subscribing or clicking the thumbs up if you want to. Again, I'm happy with the turnout on it. Really thrilled that I was able to find this piece for 99 bucks on Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description down below if you want to check it out for yourself. It did not get good reviews. There's only 3 reviews on Amazon. I'm going to go add my review, but and I'm going to give it 5 stars. It turned out perfect. So there was one guy that rated it 1 star because it only came with 1 hood vent, not 2. Well, that's the whole point of this is, you know, it's a replica of the Mopar kit designed for this truck for the cold air intake. That's the whole point. It's not supposed to come with 2. So, you know, it brought the rating down on the Amazon review tremendously, but for no reason. You know, it didn't have anything to do with the kit. It was because it didn't have 2 inlets. So anyway, quick side note I wanted to jump in and add real quick, because it only took me about an hour to install this. So that was with filming and trying to figure out a few things from this kit. The instructions were really good. I didn't have any trouble with the instructions, and everything went pretty well overall. So again, 45 minutes to an hour install. It went smooth, and so and that was with filming. So I think you should be able to tackle this with no problem. And all you really needed was maybe a pry tool to get the piece out the hood and a 10mm socket, and I think that's it. Everything else is included and you're good to go. I thought it was great. I'm glad it turned out the way it did. And again, if you stuck around this long, I appreciate you watching the video. Hope you have a good one. Bye.